Good evening, and welcome everybody to the semifinals weekend here in Red Block. We have a losers bracket matchup tonight here between Vespirit, the 10th seed in this tournament, and noncycle seed 17. My name is Speakin3. I'll be commentating this match tonight. Might get another person in the casting booth somewhat later. We will have to wait and see. Yeah, interested to see how this matchup goes, as they're already getting into warm-ups, so I might as well switch scenes here so you guys can witness the warm-ups while I ramble on for a bit. Vespirit losing in winners quarterfinals last week to Birchman down here. Noncycle, I believe, was dropped down to the losers bracket in the round of 16, and then took 2 quarterfinals losers bracket wins. First of which was against Gempio 6-0, and then another convincing 6-1 victory over Josh and Jason to make it this far. I'm interested to see how, these two players face off against each other. If I had to guess between, what these players are good at, like both Vespirit and noncycle are pretty strong tapping players, so, I'm expecting, the DT pool to be left open. If I had to guess though, noncycle very likely to just ban out, the reading maps versus Vespirit. Vespirit, very strong reading player. Noncycle, not particularly known for the reading, can on certain occasions do well on, lower approach rate stuff, but it's definitely not, his forte by any means. And I wonder, I think Vespirit likely to probably ban out, some of the more mechanically intensive stuff in this pool. Noncycle does have a really high skill ceiling, and so he's able to do really well on a lot of like super mechanics types maps, and these pools are getting to the point where that skill ceiling can start to pay off on some maps. We will have to see though. Interesting warm-up here to start off, as we see the hidden battle of 2 different skill sets, the hidden hard rock slider aim from Vespirit, the easy reading from noncycle. Yeah. Bound to be an interesting matchup for sure. Hopefully, we might be able to get to tiebreaker. Prage. We've only had 1 tiebreaker so far this tournament, which is a bit sad, but you can always hope we can get another one at the very least before this tourney ends. And we get another warm-up here. Perennial mentioned with this warm-up. As we're loading up the warm-ups, let's take a quick look at the map pool. You can see kind of the same pool size from last week: 6 no mods, 4 hiddens, 4 hard rocks, 4 DTs, and then of course the tiebreaker. As we get back into the gameplay here, yeah, again, I think noncycle most likely to just ban out, the reading maps in this pool. And Vespirit, I think if my guess would be Vespirit would be banning out, you know, a lot of some of the more aim mechanics maps. Notable in this pool, DT4 is hyper precision DT alt, so as much as I'd love to see that, I don't know if we're going to see that particular map in this match. I don't recall either of these players being, you know, super precision DT maniacs. So that map might get untouched, even though I think it's a fun map to play. Yeah, not too much else to say early on as we get into these warm-ups. I am just double-checking to make sure that what I said about non-cycle dropping to loser's bracket in round of 16 is correct, and yes, that is the case, dropping down in round of 16 versus Ramindra. I do believe we have It's Pigeon here in the desk ready to go. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How are we doing? Who do we got on board? Vespirit noncycle?
Yeah, this should be a fun match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. I do think that these are two pretty good contenders as far as players that I could see making it out of this semifinals stage.
Yeah, for sure. Both of these players have, you know, some really good skill sets. So, you know, it is a shame that we're gonna have to say goodbye to, you know, one of these players this weekend. And with that, both warm-ups have now been played. It's about time, I think, we get ready to go into, you know, the pick and ban phase. Any thoughts on how that's gonna go this match?
Not too sure. I do think Vespirit's probably gonna lean a little bit more into some of the more not gimmickier. Some of the more mechanic stuff. I'm not fully sure if noncycle is also going to try to match that as well. I mean, what we saw last week, it was Vespirit versus Birchman in the upper bracket, and Vespirit's whole pick strategy there, still even going against a higher seeded player, was still just to pick into the mechanics like the Nomad 2, the DT3, stuff like the DT2. So yeah,
and we're getting some quick bans here. Vespirit banning out the Hard Rock 1, aim mechanics, a good ban versus non-cycle, we'll give them that. Non-cycle banning out Nomad 2 and Hidden 3, okay, also makes sense. Again, Vespirit, very good tapping player by all accounts, and, you know, having image material in Hidden as well, it's just a tall order for non-cycle here.
Yeah, definitely interesting one. There are a couple overlaps, I think, in their skill sets, but what we've seen noncycle do in previous matches, as well as what we're seeing them do now, is they tend to pick more into like the consistency-based things, as well as like the raw aim side of the picks. So here, seeing them go right into the DT1 does make a little bit of sense, because this is kind of where they are most comfortable, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Non-cycle especially, he has a really high skill ceiling, and these are the types of maps that, you know, he enjoys playing. So, you know, expecting him to do quite well on this, as we do see an early accuracy lead for him on this AR 10.5 DT1.
Yeah, looking pretty solid off the beginning section. So far, neither player's made any mistake, although as I say that, it is going to be Vespirit first to fall in this Ki, so actually looking pretty good for noncycle thus far, just given that Vespirit is finding a little bit of accuracy drops, as well as these combo breaks is really hurting that score. You see it's already 100,000 points in favor of noncycle.
Yeah, I mean, noncycle just looks so good on this. 99.82% on the FC still halfway through. Like, very impressive stuff from him. This is what you expect from, you know, a player like noncycle on a map like this, you know. He just enjoys playing a lot of, you know, high skill cap DT farm. Like, every now and again, you know, I see him score posting some crazy DT runs on maps like, you know, the OG Sunglow, and I'm just like, this guy is good at DT aim, and, you know, it's showing right now, still holding that FC. Vespirit, you know, trying their best. 300k, not a bad score by any means. It's just, what do you do when noncycle is, you know, FCing with 99.76?
Right, and not only FCing with that kind of back, but just like looking so comfortable too. I'm not seeing any shakes. I'm not seeing like hardly any mistakes from noncycle in terms of like over aim, under aim. So, and there is going to be a slight under aim there right at the very end, right before the last Ki. But I mean, the damage has been done. It's over 500,000 points in favor of noncycle, and that's going to be a dominant first point on the board.
Yeah. Very dominant indeed. Kind of surprised Vespirit didn't ban this map. Surprisingly, I think surprising for me, Vespirit banning out Hidden 1 versus noncycle, which I think is which, I don't know, maybe it's just how awkward that map is with tapping, but I felt like that might have been a misban from Vespirit.
Yeah, potential misban for sure. Especially considering I think Vespirit's actually pretty comfortable with the hiddens. And like, you know, on top of being pretty comfortable on a lot of the like raw tapping, which we see they are picking right into on this next pick DT3 here. But I mean, is still a little odd seeing that hidden one get banned out versus something like the DT1. Heck, even something like the Hard Rock one, I feel like noncycle's probably going to be very comfortable on.
Yeah. Thankfully for Vespirit, you know, thankfully for Vespirit, he did see that Hard Rock one and was like, yeah, I don't want to play this into noncycle, so at least that's off the table.
Oh, was that banned? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I missed that. So that makes a little bit of sense, at the very least. Lesser of two evils, potentially.
Yep. But here we go, Akasha DT3, the corporate takeover from what we had initially. I don't even remember what was in here originally. It wasn't this, though. So, players, for sight reading, and if you haven't, like, actually paid attention, remember, DT3 got changed on Monday, or whenever, like, very shortly after the pool release. So, do check up on that, as both players still holding FCs into this first Ki. And, okay.
Yeah, FCs will drop, though, on Vespirit. A little bit of a unfortunate spot to find a miss on, but still is going to be doing fine as far as accuracy goes. It's kind of matching for the most part with noncycle, though. As I say that, they are dropping more and more combo and accuracy, so when you see it almost for noncycle, oh goodness, but still holding on to that FC.
This is kind of a surprise for me. I'm not, like, it's been a while since I've seen noncycle, like, play, you know, like, play tournaments, so, and, like, last time I've, like, seen noncycle play, you know, would never really associated, you know, him with being, you know, a speed player, but damn, is he putting on an impressive performance on this DT3 right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking really solid. We glazed him pretty hard for his DT aim, but I mean, the dude's a tap in this still. He has the better accuracy. He finally ended up dropping that combo. somewhere over the 1,000 mark. But I mean, Vespirit has been struggling to keep up with noncycle, at least in terms of the combo, if not just the accuracy. Now noncycle is kind of starting to catch up with a little bit of these breaks. I think the map's really starting to drain on them. But yeah, this is looking really solid for noncycle on Vespirit's first pick, and this is gonna be a break point.
Yeah, very convincing breakpoint as well. I think that if you're Vespirit, you probably have to... I know it's only your first pick, and it's only the second map, but with how this map went, it might be time to already, you know, reconsider pick strategy early on. If noncycle can match you on tapping, you know, it's looking rough. That's just a bunch of slider breaks from noncycle. I don't think he's actually, like, missed a note. I think he's only dropped slider breaks so far.
Yeah, I think so too. You know what, now that you mentioned that, yes, I do believe that it's only been slider breaks in this match for noncycle, but for Vespirit, I'm not sure if we're gonna see him switch up the pick strategy, because he is... I do feel like that was a low score from Vespirit. I feel like scores in his locals are probably twice as much score as what he got just then at like his lowest. So we'll see how that actually goes. But yeah, we're going into more aim here. This is maybe a little bit concerning. It's not in DT though this time, so a little bit easier. But I mean, it's still going to be pretty hefty on the aim.
Hefty on the aim, indeed. It might only be 7.5 stars, but what you have to remember is the lower the BPM, you know, the larger the jumps have to be for, you know, for the SR to be this high. And you can already see there's quite a few cross screens in this, just in this intro section.
Is this version ranked?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Could be wrong. Haven't checked in a while. I'm pretty sure it's not, but you know, it could be. I think it was a perennial custom.
Ooh.
I don't remember. I think it was a custom for something. I don't remember for what though.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Quantum Vortex, I see them around in a lot of tournaments for custom mapping, but either way, it's Vespirit first to fall again here on this no mod 1 picks, and yeah, we kind of need to see a little bit of a turnaround here pretty quickly from noncycle. I mean, how the match has gone so far, noncycle tends to hold a lot further, even deeper into multiple breaks from Vespirit, as we're seeing multiple more come out from them. So yeah, we're gonna need to see a couple more mistakes here from noncycle if Vespirit wants a chance back into this one. I feel like it's already starting to get out of control.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, just noncycle is just so good at aim. Like 99.46, still on the FC. We've said this quite a few times. Yeah, he just, I feel like he just doesn't know how to miss on these aim maps. Vespirit's, you know, all respect, actually doing pretty well as well. Like, just fighting a few, like, slight over-aims, miss-aims. Like, nothing too serious, but, like, those continued breaks like that are just not helping him when, you know, noncycle is just FCing still.
Yeah, noncycle is making these cross-screen jumps look easy. Like, he's making them look like it's just 3 stars for breakfast, you know? When in reality, like, Vespirit is missing at, like, normal times for most people to find misses on. Like, these are the hardest sections of the map. It's literally cross-screen jumps, and noncycle's just like, yeah, whatever, man, I'll FC it.
You know, something tells me noncycle probably practiced this pool. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's probably safe to say. Given that DT3 score and his DT1 and now Nomad 1 scores, yeah, I think he's looking pretty well practiced on this pool.
Yeah, I know there's a tendency for noncycle to, like, not actually look at pools beforehand, but, like, he's already scary when he doesn't look at a pool. When he practices a pool, it's actually just, like, absurdly terrifying, and his performance so far is showing it.
I mean, this is very disgusting what we're seeing noncycle do right now. I mean, some of the hardest jumps are coming up here though, so there is potential for him to find a break, but the damage again has just been done.
Okay, there he goes.
Okay, all right. Finally succumbing to the difficulty of the map. It almost felt like he just didn't care that the jumps were the entire screen in length, but they do prove that they are going to be still a little bit of human left in them going into the last jumps of the map, but I mean, what is that, 3-4 miss? Maybe? And like the last 100 combo, yeah, 6 miss.
Yeah.
And like 33 misses is pretty reasonable, I think, from most players. To Vespirit's merit, like 33 misses, 300k, like that's a solid score.
Yeah. Non-cycle skill ceiling, man. I figured that it'd probably start to rear its head on a pool like this, and I think my hunch is proven correct as Vespirit immediately goes to Shadow Castle Hidden 4. This one should, I think, go in favor of Vespirit pretty handedly. Non-cycle, not particularly known for being, you know, the greatest hidden player in Canada. So Vespirit should have that edge.
I think so. I agree with you. I do like this pick a lot for Vespirit, although this map does have a lot of jank to it. You can already kind of tell with the beginning section here, there's so much of these like cut stream patterns that have a lot of back and forths and a lot of wiggles to them. It'd be very easy to find just a massive chain miss if you make one mistake, and already seeing a mistake from Vespirit right before a big slider section is not great.
Yeah, a little bit of free-ish combo, although you can still kind of find a miss. Thankfully for Vespirit, his break was relatively clean, all things considered. Just, you know, like 150 and that one miss. So not a huge chain miss, not going to be a huge detriment to his accuracy, so still able to, you know, contest in this pick, but that set of chain misses is going to be a lot more detrimental to his odds of winning this, as non-cycle still holding on to the FC, and... Okay, finally finds a drop. I was going to say... Non-cycle is not the type of player who usually does well on this type of map. Finds a few more chain misses though, and now that score lead only within 8,000, so definitely the closest map we've seen so far.
Absolutely the closest map that we've seen so far, and the reason that it's so close is if you take a look, it's 97.5 to 94%. Non-cycle had been dropping accuracy here and there all the way through while holding that combo, and because of that, when they did finally miss, their score was so hamped by the accuracy that it's just Vespirit who's actually keeping it within this 5,000 point gap.
Yeah, it's actually insane, like just how powerful accuracy is in Score V2. Like, non-cycle has a decent combo lead over Vespirit and has had a combo lead for a good chunk of this map as well, and yet, you know, the score lead is, you know, flickering between 7,000. I think the next series of misses in this final Ki are going to determine, you know, the outcome of this map.
Definitely could determine it. We're getting into one of the hardest sections of the map. These little back and forths get so spaced out on the cut streams, but both players are hitting it pretty respectably, and yeah, they're still holding on to their combos. The accuracy jumped up to 98% before Vespirit finally ended up dropping after that recovery, but non-cycle will trade it out here. 30,000 points is doable going into the final end of the map.
There's a big chain miss from non-cycle.
It's a chain miss from non-cycle.
Lots of chain misses. Oh, this is so close. Vespirit chain misses at the end too. Who can hold on at the ending here? Vespirit, slightly non-cycle finds a huge overaim though, and that immediately brings that score lead to 50,000 Vespirit! Wait, no, did that change?
It's just going back and forth.
4,000? I don't know.
4,000 points.
Oh, that's way too close for comfort, I feel like. That chain miss at the end from Vespirit almost doomed him. I think, luckily for him, non-cycle found another chain miss right at that moment, but whew, that was a scary one. Crisis averted for Vespirit on that hidden 4, but Oh, noncycle is putting up a fight on some of these maps, and if he's looking like that on, you know, the Hidden Four, I'm scared to think of how much he's actually practiced, because a non-practiced noncycle on that map, I think, just absolutely dies.
Oh yeah, no. Non-cycle is looking so locked in right now. The fact that that was even nearly as close as it was is just scary for Vespirit. We're going into the Hard Rock pool. We have actually, I think we've seen one of every single pool so far. One pick from every single pool, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed, we have.
Wow. A lot of variety from these players. Ooh, and actually gonna be first break from non-cycle in this one. I think for the first time out of any map.
Yep.
Vespirit will trade it out shortly after, but...
Another break, though, and noncycle back in the lead. 3% accuracy advantage on, you know, this pretty gimmicky, you know, precision alt map from, Bob. And, yeah, if you know anything about Bob's maps, they can be, notoriously, funky to play.
Yeah, I am a big fan of Bob maps, and this one is not going to be any different from them, but it's going to be a couple misses from noncycle. Does get traded out by Vespirit, but noncycle's holding on to a pretty sizable score lead. It's 5% accuracy advantage, more than 5%, and doing really good numbers right now. 80,000 points going into the last quarter of the map. This is looking really tough for Vespirit to get that one back.
Yeah, tough indeed. And pretty short map. Score lead already over 100,000, and, you know, that might just seal it for this one. Another pretty convincing point for noncycle. Vespirit struggling with the accuracy and some of the patterning at the end here. So, another solid pick for noncycle.
4-1. I mean, this is a tough spot to be in for Vespirit, but not unbeatable. I think the picks are starting to run a little thin for noncycle, but I mean, like, that Hidden Four going the way that it did, maybe not, actually. I think noncycle's skill ceiling, as he said, is just so high, and their skill set diversity is so deep for this pool. I do think that it will actually be pretty contested on the rest of the picks. We'll see where Vespirit wants to go next. That DT3 didn't work out in their favor. And we are going to go back into the hiddens to close out the hidden pool. We're going on to the hidden 2. Little Chiv map to close out the hidden mod. As well as the reading pick here. Oh,
I love Chiv edits.
We love Chiv maps.
Yeah.
4WC edits.
Yep. Fairy and Reiji Maigo collab on this song. AR edited down to AR 7.5 from what I think is originally AR 9. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think the original map is AR 9, but Chiv editing this down to AR 7.5 for, I believe, last year's 4WC Grands.
Yes, 2024.
Okay.
So yeah, this is gonna be your low AR hidden. It's 7.5, and it's pretty difficult. As you can see, both players are trading a lot of accuracy. They're trading a couple of misses here and there as well. The accuracy wise though, Vespirit is looking really solid at the beginning of this map.
Yeah, it does find a break, however, and noncycle holding a little bit of combo here. And another break there from Vespirit, just gonna shrink that score lead that he has, or a little bit further.
That score was shrinking, but noncycle found a chain miss on that linear flow section for the single tap, so that is going to give a little bit more of an advantage towards Vespirit, especially with the accuracy advantage coming into the next KI section here. Looking pretty solid, actually, both players. This is a relatively close one again.
Yeah, a little bit close, but you can see the relative, discomfort of noncycle on this. It's able to, hold on a little bit more max combo compared to Vespirit overall, but the accuracy, you can kind of see again, kind of down. But that being said, Vespirit's struggling a lot on this Ki section. Noncycle actually hitting the entirety of, that Ki with some of those insane awkward aim patterns, and now has the score lead to boot. Does trade misses with Vespirit, so not able to build up a sizable score advantage, but still the lead nonetheless.
Yeah, holding on to a sliver of the lead. Does have the combo advantage for Vespirit, though, so that score is starting to dwindle, just given that it is such a small advantage for noncycle, and it does switch over for Vespirit. Only just so, though. We're going into the last third of the map, and that's a chain miss for both players. Gets traded out, so we're going to keep things pretty much dead even here. 300 points to the name of Vespirit. Now, going to extend that a little bit more into the thousands as noncycle finds a couple more mistakes, but these players are trading back and forth. This is going to be close all the way to the end, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard map. So, understandable that, both players are struggling, but another set of chain misses from Vespirit means noncycle has the lead again, and if there's anything to take from the first Ki is that noncycle can aim it. He might not have the best accuracy, but it doesn't matter when you can just out-aim your opponent, and he's doing it again on this.
Yeah, I mean, 25,000 points might not sound like a lot, but in terms of this map specifically, 25,000 points, I think, is one of the highest score differences that we've seen so far in this map, and there is a couple more mistakes coming out from noncycle that is going to keep the score dwindling. It's Vespirit holding on to about 100 more combo, but yeah, it's not enough time. Just barely. I think maybe given 40 more combo, it would have gone the way of Vespirit, but yeah, not there. Too little, too late, and that's another breakpoint to put noncycle towards that match point.
Yeah, crucial breakpoint as well, because it's noncycle's pick now. And he's just gonna close out and hope and try to out-tap Vespirit again. DT2, the pick up here. Enigma Helix. Devious finger control pick.
Definitely a difficult one. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with this exact difficulty, but I do know a lot of the difficulties in this maps that feature some cut streams in them. I'm not sure if this one does, but yeah, either way, it's going to be a lot of finger control. This is more of a tech style pick, right?
Getting into this one quickly here. Noncycle just trying to close the match out cleanly with this one. Vespirit trying to, trying to stay in this tournament here. Loser's bracket means, if he loses this, he's out. Trying his best to, stay in, but you can see just the finger control already kind of taking a toll on him. Down at 88%, not even remotely close to being comfortable on this map, whereas noncycle did find a slide to break, but 96% looking pretty solid and already has, a sizable 120,000 score lead. And it's another short map, Pigeon. It might be looking doomed for Vespirit.
Yeah, I fear the worst for Vespirit here. I never want to be like, oh, it's over at the halfway mark, but it's looking really tough for Vespirit to get back into this one. We're going to need to see a lot more mistakes from noncycle on this upcoming, I think, slider spam section here, which is very possible to do, but you kind of have to lock in here and you have to pray for noncycle to find a bunch of mistakes, and there's only a third of the map remaining, so I fear the worst for Vespirit.
Yeah, the accuracy not doing Vespirit any favors either. down 13% coming into this last quarter, and I think noncycle has chosen wisely with his last pick to look to close this out at a pretty clean 6-1. Very well could have been a 6-0 with how this match has gone and how close that hidden 4 was. Vespirit able to get a point. Vespirit able to get a point on the board, but unfortunately, 1 point is all he will get versus noncycle, and that will be the end of his run here in Red Block.
Yeah, GG, well played to both players. I think, honestly, Vespirit kept this one relatively interesting despite it being a 6-1. It was still pretty close on a couple of the matches. Within 4,000 points was, I think, the map that Vespirit ended up winning on. But yeah, unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to Vespirit. Played their heart out throughout this tournament. I mean, they just dropped down into the losers bracket, and noncycle, definitely deserving of this win, will go on to play against the winner of Fireblaze 3028 and Zex. That match happens tomorrow at tomorrow at 23:59 UTC, or Sunday 0 UTC, whatever have you. So plenty more matches to come this weekend, but no more tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe that is correct.
Yeah, so thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and GG, well played to both players. Congratulations, noncycle, for moving on a little bit further into the tournament, and yeah, come back around tomorrow. Stay tuned for more matches.
See y'all later.